Hey everyone, welcome to episode 33 of the Open Play Podcast. I'm here with the usual cohort of co-hosts, Alex.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Preston.
Hello.
And Mason.
Howdy, howdy.
We are absent our friendly orc player for this episode. He's got some stuff going on with family today, so we're down orcs, so nobody make fun of orcs today. Okay, now we can make fun of orcs.
Yeah, now that that's over. I was over here sweating, like, what do I say if I don't make fun of orcs?
Wait, what's the rest of our content?
I got that vein bulging in my forehead.
So, how's everybody doing? Everybody have a good hobby week?
I tried to put together my first push fit model and it sucked, so we're going for round 2 in another week, I guess.
What model?
The Lord Vigilant on Griffstalker.
Oh, you know, if you, as far as the pegs go, if you cut the end of the peg at an angle and kind of make it pointed, it can go together a lot easier. Leave some of the peg there if you don't just snip the pegs all together. But yeah, if you do that, it'll definitely go in a little bit easier.
Yeah, I figured the pegs would make it easy, and instead I just got gaps, and I didn't feel like trying to green stuff all of it, so at least the model was cheap.
Could be worse, could be Skaven. You could stab yourself 80 times while you put together models because they're so spiky.
Oh my goodness, when I put my Death Leaper together, I literally thought the thing was trying to assassinate me. It is so pointy.
That's the payment for the models, you know. You got to pay in blood.
Pretty much.
I'm sure Mason knows about that with CSM.
Yeah, actually, the person I played round 3 at the RTT yesterday, I was moving one of his models for him, and I had a cut on my thumb, and one of those spikes went right into my thumb, and I was like, ow! He's like, you okay? I was like, yeah, don't worry about it, I'm just an idiot.
Blood for the blood god.
Yeah, well, he was playing Nurgle, so I probably will just die soon, so I'll probably just get a terrible infection and just pass away.
7 deadly diseases on it.
How about you, Alex? Doing anything interesting other than work and work?
Well, no. Got started packing. Realized don't need to be packing yet. So if I don't need to pack soon, then I will start painting my Seraphon. We will know in a few weeks.
How many is it? Just the army box you got, or do you have the Vanguard box, or do you have like all of the boxes?
So I have the army box and the Vanguard box, and I need to sit down and figure out how much I need to round out 2,000 points. The last time I did it before they released points for 4th edition, I could basically fit 2 Vanguard boxes and the army box as long as I took out like 1 or 2 things from the army box. And I thought that looked like fun, but I need to redo it now that the points are different.
Yeah, you'll probably definitely need as much because points looking higher across the board for everything.
So I'm probably pretty close to 2K at the moment. I probably just need like another unit of Crocs or Saurus Warriors or something.
How about you, Mason? What you got going on?
So I was grinding really hard to make sure that the new additions to my World Eaters were going to be battle ready for the tournament so I can get those sweet painted points. So I finished painting my Felgor Ravagers. Well, I got them battle ready, and in that I learned how agonizing it was to paint a good black, let alone, actually there are 2 different shades of black on those minis that probably only I can tell the difference between. And there's, on all of them, there's a base coat, a dry brush, a wash, another dry brush, and then a 3rd dry brush on the fur. So it looks just like they're really dark black. So it was pretty great. A lot of work went into it that only I'm going to be able to tell.
Hey, it's got 3 colors. That counts, right?
It does have 3 colors, and if I was ready to box somebody, if they said that's just black and red, that doesn't count. Like, there's so many colors on there besides just black and red. And then if anyone is a fan of the old Zoids anime with like Liger Zero, that's basically how my armigers or my war dogs are magnetized, because all the armor bits and all the weapons just come off, so I can swap them between Loyalist and Chaos war dogs armigers. So I also had to spend time doing that and getting those battle ready.
How did everything perform?
The war dogs did pretty well. They didn't do as well as they did at the Iron Claws event last week, but the gem event yesterday, they still did pretty good. Their battle line, they move 14 inches and they hit pretty hard. I want to test Forge Fiends out in their place instead too, just to see if I get a lot of shooting, because the fact their battle line hasn't given me a lot of benefit. I think I mean, to be honest, yesterday it only gave me, I think, 2 banner points the whole tournament. But hey, you win some, you lose some.
I feel like if you're gonna bring the war dogs in World Eaters, you want the brigands, right? Because that's what you want, is to clear like chaff and screens.
Brigands are very expensive, so like a Forge Fiend does what a brigand does, but better. Because like I don't need the thermal spears to kill vehicles and stuff like that, because I have 18 bound to do that.
Well, Forge Fiend also lets you use your army rolls.
Yeah, not most of them, but +2 movement and 6 I feel no pain are always really good. Obviously, I'm not going to advance and charge or get sustained hits on melee attacks with it very consistently.
Why not? 3 guns? I mean, come on.
You make a great point.
It's War Leaders. They'll just throw guns at you. I'm half tempted to make another list and just have one Lords of Skull in it just because it's a fun model. Still playing with lists.
Still pretty good. I mean, it's not bad. It's not like it's not a straight meme. Like it's a hilariously big guy, but he puts in a lot of work.
Yeah. Other than that, from my side of things, I'm almost done building out Sisters. I need to finish like 5-6 models, and then I'll have 2K points, like half printed, half built. I want to get that on the table at some point and just run through a few games before I start painting what is probably going to be the most annoying color scheme I picked, because it's white. Get some more Spearhead going. Need to finish out the Rats and get a good 2K game in there with Sigmar, because I do want to run a good 2,000 points of Rats. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I need to finish putting my Abraxia and my Varangard together so that I can play some Sigmar as well, 2,000 points.
Yeah, I need to put like another unit of Clan Rats together, like another 40. Couple more models, Gracier, the Giselles, the Spinny Gun dude, and then the Nullholes, the Lord Vermin King dude that I have. It'll be a fun 2K list. Other than that, let's go into news for the week. So, something everybody was waiting for to come out. It's a new edition of Kill Team.
Yippee!
People seem happy about the Vespids, though.
I am happy about the Vespids. I really like their, I've said it in a couple different places, but the way that they emphasize, like, taking the scraps of the Tau Tech and integrating them into the warriors, it's really well done, I think.
They look like interesting models, and yeah, this model in particular, with the scraps of armor.
So I saw that guy first, and I was like, wait, do they just all have stealth suit heads? That's kind of lame, but the fact that it's only one guy, it just adds a little bit of flavor and character, so I'm down to clown with that.
And one oversight drone. Gotta have a drone.
Only in Kill Team, though. No drones in 40k anymore.
Not yet. Could be changing.
They're in a box waiting to come back.
They want this edition, probably. And what about the Tempestus Coolians here? Their little drop pod skull gunner.
Yeah, I didn't see that servo sentry turret before. This is the first time I'm seeing it. That is a cool little guy.
Everybody's got backpacks with jets.
These guys are fine to me. Like, guardsmen in general don't really speak to me that much. If they had some spikes on them, they'd be a little cooler.
I, for one, really like the design.
Yeah, I mean, they do look good.
I'm sort of with Mason. They just look like, soldiers with some little goofy jump packs on them, but props to you if you want them. Hey, if you want the other half.
Well, it's a starter box, so it comes with a lot of stuff. One thing they did say during the reveal show is all the army rules would be quote-unquote free, kind of like they said with 10th edition, but we'll see how long that lasts. That the army rules, and I think the base rules, you'd be able to download and actually play free.
So I kind of said before, I thought that I was glad that the regular 40k rules are free. So I think that that's the best way. When the hobby is this expensive, make the base rules free so that, people can get in. D&D did that with 5e originally too. I think that's just the best way to get someone into an expensive hobby that, you're not going to want to spend $150 on something you might not like.
Yeah, I mean, when the core rulebook for 10th or even Sigmar is like $60 by itself, when it's, 30 pages of rules and then like 300 pages of art and lore.
At least they have the 40k rules online, so it's not like they're locked behind the book.
Yeah, and I mean, they did release the smaller rulebook, which I bought like way early on, which was really handy to have because it was small, no fluff, and just the rules.
Yeah, and you have the app.
Yeah, so I mean, but not everybody pays for the app,
Oh, I didn't know that the rules on like the core rules on the app are locked behind the subscription cost. I didn't realize that.
Don't think they are. I just, in general, the extras you get with the app, like having more than one army list.
I feel like GW knew what they were doing when they made this terrain also. I assume this is terrain that comes in the box. It's not a separate kit. It's going to be like instead of the Gallo Dark terrain, it's going to be like that, right?
Correct. Yep.
These are competitive L's, and it's pretty obvious that seems to be their intent. These big square buildings, I don't know if they come in pieces that can be split into more L's, but it seems like they want to stop the third-party people from buying, or the third-party manufacturers of tournament terrain narrowing down like the competition.
Yeah, and there's a lot of little terrain scatter pieces too.
Yeah, the Kill Team terrain GW terrain looks great. It's always looked phenomenal. It just is way too expensive, and it's not really functional for tournament play.
Yeah, but this one has grenade markers now. Kind of cool.
Those are very cool, actually. And like, I always am tempted to get Kill Team starter boxes just for the terrain, but
yeah, those grenades are prime base releasing material right there.
Yeah, and they finally got rid of the shapes for the length marker. It's actually inches now, which we talked about kind of earlier off recording, but thank God. I don't want to move triangle. I'd rather move like 2 inches, you know?
Had I known that was the... Because I didn't know that was the rule, because I've never played Kill Team. Had I known that it was like oh, you move triangle, square, circle, diamond, whatever, I would have been shit-talking Kill Team this entire podcast. That's the biggest thing of nonsense I've ever heard. Like, what are you talking about? Like, give me some inches.
Yep. So, you know, the actual inch marker in the box, which is good because this is the full release box, kind of like the original Gallowdark boxes were. So it comes with all the terrain, comes with the 2 armies, the scatter train, measure tools, cards, tokens, rule books. Although the Hive Storm thing will only come in this box, apparently, for those particular missions, I guess, until they release it separately.
Yeah, still. I mean, you know, it's just like the Gallowdark. There's specific missions for each set of terrain.
Yeah, I mean, I still want to try Kill Team, but I want the Night Lords Kill Team to release on its own, and I've been waiting for that for like 2 months.
Do they typically do that at all? I have no idea. I just assume that everything is in the box that it comes in.
Yeah, I mean, they will, the kill teams you can order by themselves typically. It's not, you know, necessarily part of the starter box. Depends randomly how often or how long it takes before they actually release a separate kill team.
So the Felgor Ravagers, I think, were announced at the end of 9th, and they came out like around 6 months later, because they had Votann in there too. So like that's how late in 9th they came out. So it's usually a long wait for them to be released on, you know, on their own.
Wait, so do Votann have 2 kill teams now with the...
They do have 2 kill teams.
Yeah.
That's kind of wild to me that like one of the smallest factions gets 2 kill teams.
I mean, Guard have multiple.
I guess Tau now have 3.
I don't think that any of the Chaos-specific factions have any. I don't think Demons have one. Night Lords is just CSM.
Yeah, true.
And then they have the generic Legionaries one, but I don't think there's a Death Guard, 1,000 Suns, or a World Eaters one.
I feel like World Eaters would be like prime kill team material.
Yeah, it just makes some fancy berserkers, like whatever, dude. I don't think Rubric Marines really make sense, but like Plague Marines too, like whatever.
You've already got 7 different weapons.
Yeah, I think the success of what kill teams are going to sell the best are the models actually useful in the main 40k game. Like the Hearthkin Salvagers, you can't use the models really because like you have a jump pack guy you can't use, like, and everyone else just comes in the box. So like you're paying an extra $10 or whatever for that chain cannon.
I guess Vespids are part of the Tau, right? I mean, were they in previous codexes before? Because, you know, I'm outside of just hearing about Vespids.
They always have had, their rule is like they're pretty cheap. They have deep strike because they're flying guys, and their guns are typically actually kind of good. The issue is the guns hit on 4s, and because they're allies, they don't get the army rules. But their guns have always been like AP2 damage 2, which, you know, not bad on a unit that typically hovers around 75 points. It's just the issue is this edition, they've got the rule of up-down like a lot of other factions have, which is normally a great rule, except for whatever reason, they made their rule completely different from every other single up-down rule. Instead of going up at the end of your opponent's turn, and then coming back down during your turn, they go up in the middle of your turn. They go up in the middle of your own movement phase. And then they come down, you know, the next turn later, and then they can immediately go up again because it's still your movement phase. It's a whole load of nonsense, and I wish they would fix it.
It's definitely an interesting choice to do things that way. Like, I don't really understand what tactical maneuvers you're planning on doing at that point.
The only one that you can actually do and call it viable is you can bring them in to block a rapid ingress, and then at the end of your movement phase, after they rapid ingress, you bring them back up again. But it's, you know, it's a lot of points to do that with.
Overall, it looks like a decent box. You know, we'll see how it plays out, see how the rules changes are, because the rules have always been a little bit wonky, I think, as far as Kill Team goes. People seem to like the first edition over the second edition, so we'll see what the third edition actually comes with. That said, what I'm actually excited for, though, that's a small game, is boarding actions. I really want to get some boarding action games going, since, you know, I know someone that has all the terrain now.
Is it you?
No, it's Mason, because I printed it for him.
I actually have 2 sets. Because I have a real set too.
Yeah, I mean, I have the Gallowdark box, the original one, but one of those boxes isn't enough, I think, for a full boarding actions game.
Yeah, I have the one with the Dark Eldar and the one with. I think I have 2. I have 2 of those boxes, which makes a full set. So
Okay. And yeah, I know you still have my Castrican.
I do, for those GSC that you aren't running yet.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. But boarding actions looks good. I did pre-order the book, because the book has everything. So, we'll have a book between us that we can actually run some boarding action games on, because I do think that's about the closest I'm ever going to get to a new Space Hulk is boarding actions.
Will and I played a game with two of our friends, did a 2v2, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. I don't think we got really nuanced into all the boarding action rules, and to be fair, the 9th edition, if you can call it 9th edition, boarding action rules were kind of like a little bit stapled on, so I'm hoping they get a little bit more into the weeds, like with things like line of sight and stuff like that, but...
Yeah, the book should have all the updated rules, including all the rules that were released in like White Dwarf and stuff, should have all the army lists for 500-point armies, and a whole crap ton of missions. One of the missions I heard somebody talk about in a review is, randomly all the doors can open or close on the kill team board, and like parts of the kill team board can be like sucked out into space.
Oh no. So don't bunch up into one spot, kids, because no one wants to get spaced.
But it looks like a fun, smaller game, and I do find I do like the small games. I like the big 2K point games, but I like being able to play a game in an hour sometimes. Like Spearhead, for instance, very quick, fun, smaller point games.
Yeah, if they take any design notes from Spearhead, then it'll be a very successful system, because Spearhead is a very good game too. Obviously, Boarding Actions takes the exact opposite approach to terrain deployment, because there's a bunch of terrain on the field. But so Blood Angel stuff, we talked about the army box last week. Was it last week or the week before? I don't remember. But Preston, I'm interested in how you feel about these guys.
Well, we haven't really seen any rules, so I don't have a super strong opinion. On just like the box and the models, they seem fine. It is unfortunate all of the comparisons brought up between the new models and the Sigmar Stormcast. I'll call them variants. The similar looking ones, I can't remember the exact name. I'm sure somebody knows.
The other guys in the Skaventide box, I don't remember what they're called either. Vigilators or Skedaddlers, something like that.
I thought the Sanguinor was fine. I would not mind that model. I did think the Sanguinary Guard without the wings were kind of goofy, even like just as a option. They looked a little brutish without the wings, which sort of is supposed to help them look more like elegant and whatnot. But, I'm not a Blood Angels player. I'm not going to be buying them either way, so.
That's true. Yeah, I kind of agree. They looked a little bit too hulking and a little bit less like they were angels from on high, you know what I mean? I feel as though Sanguinius was always described as like very lithe, very dexterous, and these guys were just like, I'm made of meat and I'm coming right at you.
I am just interested to see what we get for the detachment rules, because I have no idea, to be honest. Like, once you get beyond the typical Sons of Sanguinius sort of style, like, I just can't. There's guesses you can take, like, for a jump pack detachment, maybe we see, like, I don't even know. Because advance and charge on a jump pack detachment seems really strong. Maybe it's just, like, army-wide fallback and charge. And then I don't even know what else you would go from there. Like, do you focus on, like, the flame weapons? I really don't know.
I could see you focusing on, like, flame weapons and, like, mechanized just infantry. If you get out of Rhino after a move, you can still charge or something, kind of like the way Drukhari operate. I could see that being a case, because Blood Angels aren't all jump pack guys all the time. Like, they're also, like, they defended Ball. They didn't do that by jumping into the Tyranids and stuff like that.
Could have fooled me over the last couple months.
Well, yes. Right now, they are all jump packs all the time. But
So what are we losing from the index?
I heard Brother Corbulo is probably getting lost. The Librarian Dreadnought's probably getting lost, and then Tycho, either one or both. These are the rumors I've heard from people more experienced than me.
All those make sense. Like, all the Firstborn characters, basically, that if they're not iconic to the chapter, like, no one's going to miss them. So it's kind of fine. I also think that Firstborn Death Company are gone. I know that hasn't been completely confirmed yet, but I would bet money that there's only going to be Primaris Death Company, even if they don't call them that. So it'll be Death Company with jump packs, Death Company Marines. There's not going to be the regular guys.
The Death Company Intercessors.
Yeah.
I didn't even know those existed. I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah, they're very bad. But new rules, you no longer have to split rules across 3 different versions. I think Death Company Intercessors can Overwatch for free or something. It's like something you never really want to do. They also heroically intervene for free, which is substantially better.
Presumably they also have the 0 OC rule, so their job of being like sort of cheap guys to stand on points doesn't work.
Yes, because you don't always want to pay 75 points for a character. You don't want to double the cost of a squad just so you can stand on a point, right?
Rerolling hits on a free Overwatch is like theoretically good, but their weapons are kind of trash, so they get 1 plasma pistol, 1 grenade launcher, and then a bunch of bolt rifles.
Yeah, you just don't get anything really worth it. Oh, nobody could take an Infernal Pistol. Yeah, I just don't see it. Heroically intervening obviously is useful.
Yeah, you get the +2 strength, +1 attack, and you get your couple big weapons, but it's still a hefty attacks.
Yeah, I think that just Death Company on foot in general will go the same way they were in 9th, where you just don't run them. And that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. It's not like, I don't think a lot of people are like looking wistfully at their Death Company intercessors on the shelf like this is going to be your day. I hope Asteras rules are really good because that model is great.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to say that. His model's sick.
The downgrade they took to Lamarty's model, they upgraded Asteras model in full form. That model is beautiful. He does look a little flesh terror-y to me, which I don't think he is, but he's definitely embracing the whole vampire aesthetic.
No, really? Why would you say that?
I don't know, just a hunch.
Is it the black wings? Is it the armor shaped like muscles? I mean, is it the fangs coming out of his face mask? I mean, which one would it be?
I guarantee you one of the paint colors they use on his face mask color, it has like some reference to vampire counts in the name of the color.
Probably. It's a very bluish white.
But I would not be surprised if I see at least one conversion of this into the Sanguinar model if Astaroth is not good, because this model is, you put a sword in his hands instead of the axe and you're litty titty.
Do you like the base they gave Lamartis there, though, the stair step?
Yeah, the base is the best part of the model. Other than that, he looks indistinguishable from every other chaplain out there. And this is 20 dudes, 10 jump pack, 10 foot dudes, and then 2 characters in a dreadnought.
I'm surprised they put a dreadnought in it, considering they seem to have been getting rid of like the heaviest vehicles from a lot of the other ones. Although I don't know what else you put in there besides like a rhino.
The most thematic thing would be a ball predator.
That would be kind of nuts. I mean, if we cared anything at all about combat patrol balance, that thing would run combat patrol by itself.
Assume combat patrol will be a little bit different because this is the army box, because this comes with the codex and everything. So this is actually an army box.
It feels a little light to me, is all for an army box. But I guess like none of the army boxes have been busted this edition.
No, they've all been kind of crap, honestly.
What are you talking about? The Kroot hunting pack had a great run for about a week.
I did forget. Oh, the CSM army boxes were kind of good too.
The army boxes have been very pointedly set for particular detachments. So that's one thing. Even the combat patrols have been set for like specific detachments, like the new GSC combat patrol leans heavily into their vehicle detachment because that's all you get with the combat patrol. I mean, the art on the book looks nice. We'll see how long it stays caged away, if it's going to get the Tau treatment or if it's going to be available in like a week.
That, the Blood Angel symbol is really just blocks out most of the art though. It takes over in a way that like a lot of the other symbols on the front codex didn't take over. I think it's because it's just like so mono red. Maybe it's just me, or maybe it's the picture that they took, but it's just like, I thought it was over the guy's face for a second. Yeah.
A lot of red and 2 dudes shooting some bugs, or demonettes, I guess. But I'd be curious to see how it plays out and what they actually get. I guess since it's pre-order next week, we'll start getting previews Friday and Saturday next week for it. And then we'll see stuff during the week this week, probably for different detachment previews and stuff, because they only get 3 because it's a supplement.
I kind of hope that it's like, maybe the rules are fine, but the points are overcosted or something like that. Mostly be like, I don't want it to be super busted, obviously, for balance reasons, but I also don't want it to be so bad that they have to modify the rules on another codex, because there already like is a queue for that right now, because I feel as though they have to do that with the GSC codex at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they have a 55% win rate right now, as of the end of the month, end of July, I should say.
Oh, I thought you meant GSC. I was like, what? No, they don't. What are you talking about?
No. GC's a little bit less than that.
Just a little bit less than that.
Most people are using the index detachment form too.
+2 strength, +1 attacks is a good ability. I think the only weakness of Sons of Sanguinius is no advance in charge. Like, everything else about that index is great. Or that detachment is great. Who is running Firestorm Assault Force for Blood Angels?
Bro, those ball predators, they pop off.
They already have assault. You don't need to give it to them.
Hey, +1 strength.
Give them to push them to strength 7, the most important breakpoint out there.
What if you're going against custodes?
I didn't think about it. You're right. I'm a fool.
I'm going to say at least these 2 guys are bringing down the curve for everybody else. So, 55% win rate.
Yeah, Sons of Sanguinius would be at 56% win rate if not for those 2 guys bringing down the average. They're doing Sanguinius' work to make sure that Blood Angels don't get nerfed.
As far as the comment about the dread that's in this box, I think they're just trying to offload that dread.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, a Death Company Redemptor dread could be pretty good. Because if it's faster and a little bit thicker, like, I could see it. Because the regular Death Company dread, being able to fight multiple times is pretty good.
That's the current rules they have.
Reroll hits, OC0. Gets to fight or shoot every time it gets attacked.
Yeah, especially with Heroic Intervention only being 1 CP now, like, someone charges, like, that's a really big deterrent to charge people, because, like, a lot of stuff that's going to kill infantry is not going to kill a Dreadnought. You get one guy hitting you, and all of a sudden you're getting hit twice by this Dreadnought.
I mean, the Magna Grapple's not terrible either, to be quite honest.
Yeah, the Magnum Grapple is super good.
7-inch charges out of Deep Strike.
You lose the smoke keyword, which you might use, like, once an event.
It's got Meltas. Yeah, I mean, well, this version is pretty decent. We'll see what the new version version looks like. Death Company Dread.
That's a legit unit. The issue is that it just doesn't hit that hard. Like, when you look at the equivalent amount of attacks you can get for 150 points.
Yeah, if he had the Brutalis as melee, he'd be a little bit better off. Because then he'd get, I think the Brutalis with its claws has 6 attacks, so you get 7 on the charge. It'd be a strength 14 twin linked.
But, like, you could take 5 Death Company and get better melee profile for the same cost, pretty much.
Mephiston could use a glow up too in the new index, because he just is... He can't join anything good, is what I think the issue with him is.
Stern Guard veterans.
Yeah, you could add your melee librarian to a shooting squad or assault intercessors, which are just fine.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see the previous issue. I'm curious what detachments, if it'll just be rehashes of current detachments. Are they going to hit the index detachment like they've hit the other index detachments? What are they going to do? Because the index detachments actually got a, buff last data slate? Or was it the data slate before that it got hit?
The buff from +1 strength to +2 strength?
Yeah.
That was January, I think, when they did their huge revamp. And they were good, they just didn't get hit in April, and so that's when they became better, because everything else went down and they stayed the same.
Seems to be the case for some armies. Thousand Suns.
Yeah, I mean, Thousand Suns legitimately are up there because they're so hard to use that the GW probably doesn't want to nerf them because their win rate's not outrageous. Well, now it is.
It's always been in, like, the upper 50, or when I say upper, I mean like towards that 55 range. I cannot believe they brought down the points on the Middle of the Vortex piece. That change makes 0 sense to me.
That thing has been undercost, I think, the entire edition. I don't think there's been a single 3-month slate it has been a good point cost. It's like a 180 point model, and then it's always been between like 150 to 160.
Now I'm going to pull up the points here, or the card, because I got to see what exactly it does here.
It's 3 up, 5 up, T11 with a 5 up feel no pain.
13 wounds?
Something like that. If you're within 6 inches, you take mortals, and then it doubles the range of your spells when you stand near it. Oh, and also, it's got 3 different weapon profiles, just because.
And they're all good.
Yeah. And it has a triple sweep. I always forget about that. It's like 5 attacks on the strike, and then I'm like, oh, surely I could put, this squad of, like, random guys into it and tie it up for a turn. No, it's got 15 attacks on the sweep. T10, 4 up, 5 up, my bad.
Damage 4 on its strike, too, is, like, also kind of crazy. Like, this thing is just nuts for no reason.
Move 10 instead of move 8, and then also when it stands next to Magnus, it gets move 12.
Yeah, the more you look at this card, the more you're like, what is happening here? This is so crazy.
OC4, so it, like, you can't even throw a rhino on the point or something. You have to put legit things on it.
And a base 5 up feel no pain.
Yeah, it's blast is strike 9. It's like a savage marine killer. Like, this thing shoots hard, it hits hard, it poops mortal wounds out in an aura around it. It's hard to kill, it buffs your army. This thing is elite.
The only thing it doesn't do is generate Cabal points, but, like, it does everything else.
That's why you don't take 3. Maybe you only take 2. But
I was going to say, do we see 3 of them or generally just 2?
I've seen 1, I've seen 2. I don't think I've ever really seen 0.
Yeah, the major issue is they're hard to find. I don't think they've been in stock really the whole edition because it's like an old kit or something.
So do you know what to do when something's out of stock, right?
You order from Warpfire Minis. Follow our affiliate link in the podcast description to order, probably not a Muta the Vortex piece, but other things you might want.
Exactly. You have to proxy it and use the Warpfire Minis affiliate link. That gives us a small kickback. That's just to help the podcast out, and we'd appreciate it greatly.
We're getting better. We're getting better at this. You probably could, with a couple Chaos Bits, convert like a Toxicrene or something to it, and like people are probably selling Toxicrenes on eBay for dirt cheap, considering no one ever uses that kit.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen one of those on a table. I refuse to buy one because you need like an entire like foam layer in a battle foam bag just to store one of them because the tentacles are so goofy.
At least now their tentacles don't stop you from moving around walls, so at least now you can move it somewhere.
That's true.
God, that one-shot beam cannon, Jesus.
Strength 18.
It's just got a railgun.
-4 AP and a minimum 7 damage.
Yeah, Mutalith Vortex Pizza are stocks, and you can get it for the low price of, what was it, 150 points?
145.
When we're comparing this to the Librarian or the Death Company Dreadnought, they're the same price.
Oh yeah, no, there's no comparison there.
Yeah, Thousand Suns is tuned up. Thousand Suns Index's biggest weakness is the fact that your lists always are 440 points down because you have to take Magnus. But also, you get to take Magnus, so it's not really a negative.
Really, they're 600 points down because you take Magnus and a Mutalith.
Well, that is an easy way to start your list, and then you just need to see how many Cabal points you can comfortably jam in.
750, because you want to.
I do want to play Thousand Suns eventually, but like...
Slowly, man. I got 20 rubrics and Terminator Squad. I need probably way more rubrics, but yeah.
30 is what people were running for a while, I think.
Yeah.
I see a lot of 10-5-5 now.
10-5-5 plus Armin that gives you, and then plus 2 sorcerers. I think that gives you like...
Infernal Master with the Relic is pretty nutty. Armin I've actually just seen by himself, just to like run around and give you a free spell on his disc.
Yeah, if your opponent doesn't have indirect, I don't think having him run around on a disc independent is bad. And like, we don't have a lot of strong indirect in the game anymore. Even the guard indirect's been nerfed pretty well. So just as a scoring piece running around, he comes in, he shoots a shot and dies.
I'm really curious to see how Drukhari play out after the next, after they finally update the dashboard here. I know it's been delayed because people were sick after WTC and just recovering.
They're gonna come down, but I think they're gonna stay top 3. They're definitely staying top 5. I think they're gonna stay top 3.
So that's a little surprising to me. Is Drukhari does this dashboard win rate count team events too?
No.
Okay.
It only counts singles GTs, I'm pretty sure.
Because it shouldn't, in my opinion, count teams events, because team events are very different.
Anybody play Middle Earth? New book coming out?
I know somebody who plays MESBG. He plays orcs.
Well, we can't trust them.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Probably should just unfriend him, to be honest with you.
He plays orcs because he's a bad painter, and so when he paints them terribly, it doesn't look bad.
All right, I will accept this as the only justifiable reason to play orcs.
That's legit not bad, actually.
I think that a lot of these models look really good. It doesn't interest me, and I don't know why, because I really like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of charm to them. I don't know what it is. Like, just looking at the warriors there, they just look like generic, like, guys, right?
Truth. Even the like Balrog mini looks just fine. Like, I think that I can't remember that demon guy's mini, the Watcher in the Dark or whatever. No, that's not it. It's if you scroll up, Michael, it's the guy standing on the rock. That is probably one of the best minis in Middle Earth Strategy Battle, and I feel as though the 40k minis and the Age of Sigmar minis have just gotten so good that guy just doesn't hold up anymore.
I think it's the feet. I think he needs a wider stance.
Well, look at the details on the wings. Like, if you look at like a Demon Prince these days, there's so many details on the wings and stuff like that just model lacks. It's just not there. It's not keeping up with the detail because you're going from a source material. You probably just can't embellish as much. Like
Be'lakor, where he's got all the like rings and skulls on his wings and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be'lakor is a hard model to put other models against, though, because Be'lakor is such a good model.
Be'lakor is one of the best models they've put out ever. That is fair.
And these are also older models that are returning. Doofy ghost dudes.
They're just hanging out.
Piggyback rides all around. But yeah, I mean, their poses are just very static poses for the most part. The thing I don't really care for, I think.
A little bit banana spears going on.
Yeah, definitely some curved. Should probably go to a doctor for that. I still think that's an odd look if you're not going to include something for a bowstring.
Yeah, that is kind of goofy. They can make bowstrings too. Like the Kroot have bowstrings on their hunting bows. It's not like it's impossible to make.
And the last new release is the Morvenval book coming out, which I'm tempted to actually get.
How old is Morvenval in the lore? Is she like over 100, or is she like just a white-haired but like not that old?
I don't know.
So we're gonna say Morvenval is 23. She just has a really stressful 23 years.
I think she's like in between 50 and 100, if I had to guess.
Yeah, because she's like a sister superior, right? So she's probably been around for a while, but she's just a human, so she's not going to be like 300 years old.
She also like just doesn't have that much lore about her. She doesn't even have a wiki page.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's just not much there.
I know that when I played the first time before I stopped playing, she did not exist.
3 years ago is when it was announced, 2021.
Oh, so she only ever had one model.
Yeah.
I didn't realize she was that new.
She came out in 9th edition.
Oh, did she? Well, okay.
She came out in 9th edition and she fucked stuff up, and she has not stopped fucking stuff up ever since.
That's what she does. She comes in from Deep Strike and just like, hey, that thing's dead. I don't like it. Doesn't matter what that thing is. Oh, it's a Baneblade? Dead. I don't care.
Anyway, yeah, she's, 21 going on 400.
So this post was from 10 years ago. I can't wait till 2025 when we have flying cars and there's peace across the planet. Ooh, I got bad news for you, buddy. People can't even agree which plastic soldiers are the best.
Well, it's obviously Tao's.
I mean, debatable.
Thank you guys for joining us for Preston's last episode of Open Play.
The only good Tao is a dead Tao.
After controversial online comments, we felt it was best to remove him.
We want to maintain a safe space for our podcast viewers, and saying Tau is the best models is not that.
But hey, fuck orcs.
The paint job on that model in their announcement pictures, not that good, right? Like, am I crazy?
It's okay.
I don't like how they did the missile rack.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. It's like, it looks almost like it's like a machine gun instead of a missile rack.
Everybody knows missiles are red.
That's why they go faster through the air. That's the only thing the orcs get right, is red things do in fact go faster.
Yeah, I mean, this paint job's not the greatest. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's better than I could do, so I'm not going to dock it there. But, you know, it's a lot of flat colors.
Well, it's like you're allowed to criticize professional sports ballers, even though, like, I could not dunk a basketball. I'm still going to make fun of you for doing a bad job at it.
Yeah, very monotone's not the word, but
Just flat. Oh, it's a little flat.
Yeah, her toga or whatever's around her legs is a little flat.
Yeah, that's just a little throwback to 2021, I guess. But
yeah, Morphin Ball, brand new model. We should, look for that to be released soon.
well, we got to release another Space Marine captain first, so let's not get carried away.
Lieutenant, we don't have lieutenant with jump pack.
Oh my god! Don't let Jane's Workshop know that we don't have Lieutenant with jump pack. Every other release will get pushed back.
It's coming in the Blood Angels box. All the jetpacks, they're going to make one of them a lieutenant.
So, Preston, are you hyped for Nova?
I am hyped for Nova. I am hyped to play 9 games and then be very tired.
When is Nova again?
2 weeks.
Okay. Maybe we'll actually get some announcements for the rest of the codexes this year. That'd be cool.
It's not using the agents box, right? I'm pretty sure it's not.
No, I don't think that gets released until that weekend, right?
I thought it was next week, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think they come out next
That's
week.
definitely after the rules cut off. There's no way. Not that it would impact that much.
Which is good. I don't think I want 3-inch deep striking Calexis assassins. Have we talked about the agents? Did I miss that episode?
No, we have not. Yeah, that's true. We have not touched on that. Did they change the Calexis shooting profile?
I don't believe so, but also I don't know anything about the Calexis besides the fact that it's got the 2-up Fumla painting and psychic, so...
Dude, how are your Tau going to deal with that?
I know. I always wanted to bring one just because it was so funny, just to, like, randomly obliterate an army.
Yeah, you end up going against Thousand Suns or Tyranids, and you're just like, I don't care about you anymore.
Grey Knights.
Oh yeah, Grey Knights too.
All the force weapons are psychic. The Calexis got 3-inch deep strike. The Eversor combined all 3 of its profiles. It used to choose between sustained, precision, or advanced in charge. I think it's all 3 now.
Etheric Emergence. When this model is set up on the battlefield using the Deep Strike ability, it can perform an Etheric Emergence. If it does, this model can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 3 inches horizontally away from enemy units.
And then its Battle Shock now is like once per game in an aura.
Once per battle at the start of any command phase, this model can use this ability. If it does, each enemy within 9 inches of this model must take a Battle Shock test, subtracting 1 from the test, or 2 if the enemy unit is a Psyker.
So it's just like your own pocket Shadow in the Warp. Just once per game, you're like, hey, all you guys, take Battle Shock at -1, just cuz. Please don't screen out my 25mm base from a 3-inch deep strike.
It's on a 32, Preston.
Oh my gosh.
So I have a question about the sideboarding thing with these assassins. So you build a list, you have 2 assassins. Are you paying the points cost for both or just 1, since you're not using both at the same time?
So you pay for 1, and then if you are all Imperial agents, so you can't do this if you ally, but if your faction is entirely Imperial agents, during declare battle formations, which is when you declare like who's going in transports, who's going in reserves, you can swap it for an assassin of equal or lower points cost. So I can put, say I put the Calidus in my list, and I'm playing all Imperial agents, I can swap the Calidus for any assassin of equal or lower cost when we're setting the game up.
Which will probably be it'll probably be the most expensive assassin, so it'll probably be any of them.
But will this army actually function as a decent army outside of the sideboarding assassins?
No. It will function functionally with kill teams and Grey Knight Terminators and assassins and garbage. It will not be good because it doesn't have an army rule.
This is the closest thing that GW has gotten in recent memory to saying, your rules, please do not use them ever. Like, it very much feels like that we don't want you to use this book on its own. We want it to be a faction that you ally in.
Your army rule is that you get to use a detachment rule. That is legit what it says under the army rule.
And all their detachment rules are fine.
One of them is good because it applies to everybody, and the others are bad because they're situational and specific.
I mean, I kind of don't want Agents of the Imperium to be their own faction anyway.
No. I would have been fine with them just, like, updating all the rules and not even giving them detachments.
Yeah, they probably just felt obligated to in some way, but, like, you're never going to make anyone happy, everybody happy regardless. As long as you can still play your Grey Knights and Sisters in their own unique codexes, which obviously you're going to be able to do that, who cares?
Well, we'll see.
This is going to be the codex that gets people to migrate away from the app a lot, too, because I'm not going to buy an entire codex just so I have access to the Calidus's rules. rules.
Yeah, no, it's not worth a $60 book for 4 data sheets. Although if you do want it, go to warfarminis.com and use our affiliate link and go ahead and buy the book.
Buy 2 and give 1 to us. We'll give it back after we type the code in.
Yeah, just the code. We don't need the actual book. I mean, don't you want to run the Inquisitor Chimera?
The rhino can go inside other rhinos.
I saw that.
Wait, really?
They said that it can store any Imperial thing. What's the exact wording on it? They didn't say not vehicles.
Yep, this model has a transport capacity of 12 agents of the Imperium models. It cannot transport Terminator or Assassinorium models. So yeah, fill it full of rhinos.
Just nesting doll of rhinos.
Yep.
Your 1 rhino explodes into 12.
Someone's going to do it before I don't even know if they FAQ'd it.
You could put a Corvus Blackstar inside of it, right?
Okay, so question. If a rhino explodes, and then everybody has to take their shocks, or if they're going to, like if any models die coming out of it, if those die, can they also explode?
They won't die because they take 1 mortal. They don't die.
It'd be more fun if this was like 9th edition rules, and they could just flat out die.
This is actually the real question, right? A dedicated transport explodes or instantly dies if the game starts and it's deployed without stuff inside of it. But what if it starts the game inside another rhino? Can it start empty then?
I think it dies, yeah.
I mean, so, okay, thought experiment here. You have a rhino with 12 rhinos in it, put it on the board, has no infantry models in it, let's say it explodes. You nest the other 3, or the other 12, like 3 inches up, they explode. Next one's 3 inches up, it explodes. Can you do that? Just keep going over and over and get all the way across the board? And
they wouldn't explode, right? Because they have themselves inside of it.
Yeah, I guess.
If I've got a rhino with 12 rhinos in it, then it doesn't explode.
Just the 12 rhinos inside of it die, and then it gets to start the game empty. This is how you circumvent you can't just take empty transports.
Yeah, put a Corvus Blackstar in there. You're fine. And these models, like, they're all such old models.
This does feel like an old edition codex for sure. Looking at the models inside, even the Exaction Squad, which are new models.
It feels very safe. It feels like they were not trying to rock the boat besides the assassins.
You could probably get a period after trying for that statement.
Well,
and then you have, baby and his baby carrier.
Why did they take the flavor away from that man? Who replaced his garlic powder with baking powder?
I'm curious to just see the army get played. I haven't watched any bat reps for it yet, but I need to watch a couple of bat reps just to see how people are playing, and I just want to see how it does and how either badly it performs or surprisingly mediocre it performs.
There's going to be one guy who brings it to a 40% win rate, is my prediction. I wonder if they're going to start including it in their meta watch now that it has its own codex.
Oh, they forgot World Eaters in one of them, and they're an actual army. Like half an actual army, but they're an actual army.
They have more data sheets than Votan.
Everything has more data sheets than Votan. Poor Votan.
The World Eater Index, like every time I start thinking about it too much, does confuse me because I'm like, there's no Chaos Lord model. Why are there like all these like Chaos staples just not there? Like I understand why there's no jump pack infantry because that would be kind of goofy, but there's no Terminator Chaos Lord stuff like that. Like it just like why is there none of those just the most basic thing ever?
Well, once we get an actual codex and they give us a new model, we'll see what new model we get, and if it's bread butchers or what they're going to give us, I don't know.
I'm just ready to start chopping with other things.
Yeah, I mean, Terminators are okay. I mean, you can throw a 10-man squad in there and, chew through some stuff.
Dean Sinbeck, I think, took 30 Terminators to the WTC Championships.
Jesus, that's so many points. But that's also a lot of beef.
Yeah, and you're taking lists that can skew, right? Like at WTC, where you kind of get to choose who you're playing against. So it's not exactly. I don't think he would take it to a GT because +1 to hit if you lose a guy is not really the best data sheet rule compared to like if you try to fall back, they might just not be able to.
2 up save, 3 in model, 4 up in vuln.
6 up heal no pain.
It's easy to get. So yeah, I mean they're you can definitely do some stuff with that.
Yeah, they're playable. I don't think that they're bad by any stretch of the imagination. I would even say they're pretty good. I just really like 8-bound.
Yeah, because they're just excellent.
Yeah, like these are B tier and 8-bound are S tier.
Want a 5-inch move, or do you want a 9-inch move with possibly making that 11-inch with advance and charge? Exalted 8-bound are just a great unit. I expect them to go back up in points next, even though they barely went down, but next change, I'm just expecting them to flip-flop back.
Yeah, I don't think that they're at unfair points costs, I will say that, but I don't know what the army needs to bring it down a little bit in win rate. Because I don't think Angron needs to go up. Maybe 5 points, that's really it. Oh, Spawn probably need to go up. I forgot. Spawn are definitely undercosted.
Would you want 2 models that are 65 points that you can get to a Fort Philopane?
Oh, no, I don't want them to go up. I want them to go down. That would be great. But no, I think that it's probably, in the interest of fairness, they probably should go up to like at least 70 points because they are really good. The guy I played round 1 at the RTT, he plays CSM and he just saw a spawn. He just was like, oh yeah, they're like the CSM spawn. And then I started using the spawn against him. He's like, wait, what? What just happened? I'm like, yeah, there's strike 7 on the charge. They have a 4 at Feel No Pain. And then, oh, this one's going to do an action. He's like, aren't they 0 OC? I'm like, nope, mine aren't.
That's dirty. I mean, they're just a dirty unit for that point cost. I need to get them into a game again. I've only played one game since Richmond, and that was Sisters versus Alex Tyrannids, which I did super poorly on.
Well, you got to roll over to 6 on your charge rolls, man.
And his battle shocks.
Yeah, I failed every battle shock.
That was probably the worst part.
I failed every battle shock except one because I used Miracle Dice to pass it. And on my Miracle Dice, I had like 2 6s. Everything else was a 1 and 2. It was just a bad game. I got so destroyed.
Doesn't the Triumph St. Catherine, doesn't she automatically give you a 6?
Probably. But, also my first time playing the army and I was trying to figure out what the hell I was doing.
Oh, see? That's the secret sauce right there. Just take the Triumph.
I did take Triumph. I just played it very poorly.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it's part of the list. And I plan to play Alex again at some point if he's not moving and redeem myself here.
I am down.
And maybe pass a battle shock test this time. That'd be super cool.
I felt really bad. For all of the shit talking I've done on the Shadow and the Warp army roll, and then to use it and you fail all of them, I was like, oh, that's not how this is supposed to work.
Just like, oh no, you're in danger now.
Yeah, and it was so bad because it was the second turn, so it was the turn that like all of our armies had crashed. And it's like, oh, you just can't use a stratagem on anything. No interrupts, no defensive strats, just I get to do whatever I want this turn.
It was great. It was a good time. But yeah, no, I plan to play the list different the second time. So, we'll get a game in Alex if you're free at some point in the near future, because I do want a second try at that. Other than that, outside of that, anything else we want to bring up before we wrap up for the evening here, folks?
No, I think that we're definitely going to have a lot to talk about after Nova. Going to be a lot of happening, a lot of reveals, and we're going to be able to talk about the meta.
Yeah, I'm not going to be around in 2 weeks if we're doing an episode then.
Hopefully you're on stream, and then we'll be able to just watch. We'll talk about your game on stream.
I'll just go 8-0 with my 48% win rate army.
I mean, just play better. Don't you have dice that have like 6s on 3 sides?
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
And remember to model for advantage. Keep that in mind. Your flight stands need to, be modeled the correct way, quote unquote.
5 inches above the ground so no one can
I should
charge you.
replace all of my 60mm flight stands on my hover tanks with 32mm. Like, trust me, this is what they came with. Free pivot.
I do consistently forget about the new pivot rules, and I get sad every time. But there's some good that came with it, but it's still a little janky.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I'm curious about when I mentioned Drukari earlier, is if that's going to affect their win rate more than like 1 or 2%.
No, they're still just really good, to be honest.
There's a whole bunch at Tower Indian River if anybody wants the army. Like a whole bunch of Drukari there.
Well, I got a free box of Cabalites, so I'm already like 5% of the way to an army.
That's true. You run, 20 Cabalites in a lot of lists, right?
Yeah, you run at least 10.
I mean, I forgot to mention, though, I am printing Wolf Cavalry out. I'm going to have 18 of them? 3 units of 6? I'm getting closer. And it's going to be a mixture of Wolf and Bear Cav, I think, because I have some Bears printing too.
Okay, Bear Cav are kind of awesome.
I have some other Bear Cav proxies that I may print as well, but, we'll see. I like the Space Viking aesthetic, but Bear Space Vikings are better, I think, than Wolf. Plus, I don't want to buy the derpy Wolves because they look really bad. Anyway, I think we babbled enough. Any last comments? Anything anybody want to bring up? Anything anybody want to shill? Anybody going to anywhere like Nova soon?
Nope.
Okay. Well,
good talk, fellas.
Thanks for all that assistance, guys. It's been a good episode. Everybody have a safe couple of weeks out there. We will be back in a couple of weeks with talk, hopefully some Codex information for a new roadmap, because it'd be really cool to see what's coming up next after a couple of months of waiting. And we'll go from there. Everybody have a safe week. Enjoy your hobbing. Happy gaming. Email us at openplaypodcast@gmail.com. Join the Discord. It is in the show notes. It is anywhere we post the episode. You can find us. Also use our affiliate link that is through Fire Minis. If you need to buy some minis and you want to use Warfire, which is a really good shop. A friend to the show, use our affiliate link, which is also in the show notes, which will give us a few percent kickback so we can continue to pay our editor out of pocket. Everybody have a good week and everybody have a good time. See y'all.
Hey, see ya.